Hello viewers, welcome to Full Spinnaker Ahead. It's episode 32 part 2. The title is Cut a Furrow, Full Spinnaker Ahead. Just wanted to acknowledge the creators of that title, Cooter and Potter, a couple of shearing mates, and I quite often use that saying on the way home. So without any further ado, here we are leaving Port Stephens. So it was quite a snappy breeze and the sharp, choppy sea conditions made it really uncomfortable, so I slowed my boat right down. But the fella in the other catamaran, he was charging ahead at a rate of knots. Anyway, we're on the east coast of Australia. Just to pinpoint where we are, we start the episode at Port Stephens, leaving the Heads, just sort of north of Sydney. We parked in Jimmy's Beach overnight and tracking out around the headland down south. We'll be going down past Newcastle and pulling in at Pittwater to pick up Stewart, our crew member, and then further down the coast all the way down to Eden, where we turn around Gabo Island to head west for Lakes Entrance, and then down to Meetung through Lakes Entrance, and then down the Gippsland Lakes to Meetung. Wasn't long out of Port Stephens and come across a extraordinarily large pod of dolphins, and I'm still trying to work out what they were potted up like that for, whether that's something that they normally do. It probably is, but I thought that I might have also seen some indication of a rather large school of fish, which would explain why they would all congregate together, I suppose. But if you know why they do pot up like that, or if that's what they normally do, let us know, can you? Approaching Pittwater, we come across a few sailors. And it's always in this area and all the way down into Sydney and Sydney Harbour that you just see so many people on their yachts, and they're all into the racing, and they're really impressive actually. They always come out on the really windy days. So had a few days to seek shelter, went to a new place in America Bay and moored up on the multiple moorings. And they had a magnificent waterfall there for a freshwater shower, and it was glorious little spot. We're at the top of Cape Barrenjoey in Pittwater. We've met up with Stewart and we're on our way tomorrow to Lake Entrance. A good weather window. And here's Matt. Say good day to the viewers. Hello viewers. And we've got Stewart who's going to give us a hand to sail. We hope to get there in this weather window, so we're going to see how we go, and we're really excited about it. On our way out of Pittwater, we've been under motor now for about 4 hours. Stewart over there is just taking his first shift. He's just getting his sea legs. And I'm about to go on to my second shift. He's done his first. And everything's going pretty good. It's a pretty rocky little day, but it's sort of evened its way out a bit to see. A bit of...
You just landed.
A bit of rain.
Got a pet.
Oh, turn. He's using his tail feathers to keep himself balanced. He's loving life. Loving life. I'll just show you the sea state. It's moved off a fair bit, but we still haven't got a much of an easterly going. It's all on our nose, so we just kept it like it is, and that's about all we can say. We hope to be out at sea until we get to Bairnsdale. No, Lake Entrance, should I say. See ya. So some of the iconic landmarks you see from the sea south of Sydney Harbour, Southern Headland, down to Bondi Beach, basically. And I've always wondered what some of these were, like the elevated water reservoir. It's just a water reservoir that was put up there to provide a bit better pressure for Rose Bay and a few other suburbs. The one I like is the sewerage vent, the sewer vent. It looks like a ancient Roman column or something, but it's actually a sewer vent, which has its purpose, but it sort of doesn't seem to really want to fit in my eyes. Most frequented beach in the world, just about. But what I like is the Bondi iceberg pool, sort of filled by the outer ocean, which is a great idea, I reckon. Anyway, full Spinnaker Ahead this way, so that's exactly what we do. Wow, magnificent cliffs. Day one. This is the first time we got the sail up. It's on the nose, but not tight, not close hauled. We're doing 5.6 knots. It's been lower though, and so wind's going up and down a bit, but up to 6 knots. Just passing Port Kembla, going 6:30. Just heating some spaghetti bolognese up in the microwave. Stewart's trying his bed for a sleep, and my shift ends at 7, I think, and then I'll have a crack at the bed after I get Stewart sorted. We're all going pretty good. Trying to make the headland of Nowra or Jervis Bay. So we'll be there in the morning. It's 45 miles at 5 or 6 knots. We might be there before morning, and we're just going to sail past us. Everything's going all right. So we've had the sails up and down like a bride's 90, but the wind's been a bit off, so you get that sometimes. We just keep sailing. Hopefully we don't have to put the motors on again. Just past Jervis Bay. We sailed all night, and then we had to motor. Stewart actually was on shift and he lost wind, so he turned on the motor, and then we kept going under motor until the morning, and then we got to Jervis Bay. The wind picked up again, and it was a headwind, which we got now, and we're pointing to Bateman's Bay, and doing about 5 knots, full head sail, full main, and Stewart's gone to bed and I'm sailing. You can see Point Perpendicular over there. That's one of the wondrous headlands entrances to a bay, like this perpendicular cliff. But we're not going into Jervis. I like Jervis Bay, it's very easy to get into it, and then also Bateman's Bay is very easy to get into. But we're just gonna keep going. Been a bit of a quick passage, this one. We've got about a day to get to Eden, and who knows, we might even be there today, but we expect the wind to start to turn easterly at about 11 o'clock, and then it won't be strong for the rest of the day, but later on in the day, tomorrow and so forth, it's getting stronger and stronger. We might have to wait a day in Eden from the last forecast we looked at. Have to wait a day just to wait for the heavy stuff to go, and then we'll turn around the corner and head for home. Head west to Lake Central. But yeah, we're close home, I suppose. But the sails are doing their thing, and we're doing our thing. Got a few hours sleep, feel a hell of a lot better as if I was doing it myself. And it's a good experience. Good way to get somewhere on a sailing boat if you've got a couple of people or a crew, and then you can just keep going and you've got a good weather window. But what I find is if you don't leave on a definite northerly, you end up with all this little changes in between, like, you know, starts on the head and then it goes to the east and then you lose it at night, whereas if you start on a definite northerly, once it's developed, it'll just run all night then, generally. That's what I found anyway. So yeah, you definitely need good motors. Right, I'll call it quits. Later.
Catch the fish.
That's perfect footage. Stewart tidies here to the side. It's beautiful.
Oh, up in Early Beach, in Hook Passage. Lunch mackerel, Hook Passage mackerel. On our way to the corner where we turn right to Lakes Entrance, we are sailing full on sail now. It's easterly and we're doing 5.6 knots. Here we are at Gabo Island. We've been waiting for wind all night and we've finally got a bit of northeast, and we're heading the last leg of our eastern coast journey back to Lakes Entrance. It's awesome. We've got Gabo Island over there. It's an absolutely wonderful looking structure. Stewart's down below having a kip. I tried to wake him but he wouldn't wake up. We're getting 20 to 25 knot northeasterly, and then it's going to retract later on tonight, and this is a 24-hour from here to Lakes, so it'll start to retract and we'll end up with a bit of willy blue around where we're going to go in the entrance. So that's our plan, and that's what we're relying on. So if that doesn't happen, we just have to wait a bit longer until the wind dies down. So that's about it. Not much else to say. We're going to put the sail out now. We've been motoring all night, and yeah, away we go. Talk later. Come on. Wow, I don't know what was going on there. Trying to disengage the autopilot and it wouldn't come out. Maybe because it was right on the money and it doesn't come out until you come off it. Who knows? Just coming up to Point Hicks. Lighthouse over there. Been hand steering because the wind's pretty much gone behind us and you just got to, the autopilot swings too much and it takes the head sail out of the wind, and the sail flogs like crazy because there's a fair bit of wind out, We've got it wound in a little bit before we did. Stewart was saying we're doing 13 knots down the wave. Not every wave, but so we wound it in a bit. So we're doing like, I suppose we're doing an average of 7.5, maybe 8 knots even. It's a good downwind sail. It seems to have calmed off a bit now. We're getting towards late afternoon, and we've got 55-60 miles to run, and we want to be there, want to go in at 11 o'clock, so we think the wind's going to detract more to where we've just come from. We're going to end up with like a willy blue spot where we're going to go in. That's our plan. So we're just going to get as far as we can with this wind, and then if we have to wait at the other end, we've got to wait. But it's the hand steering is anticipate the turn before it happens and then compensate, and then you eventually get like a little groove, and then it starts to run straight, and then it's a bit easier when it's running straight. We've got the sea developed, so we're surfing down the waves a bit. All good. Thursday night, ghosting along, sitting on the bow seat of Toucan. Stars are out, full star show. Head sails up, 2.5 knots. One of the main stars, the brighter stars, is putting a bit of light on the water, and we've got less than 0.5 metre seas. We're just ghosting along. 8 hours to run to Lake's entrance. You can hear the drone of the surf on the surf beach. Typically all the lights in the distance, like the oil rig platforms, all look closer than what they really are. It's pretty good. It's pretty warm for southern conditions too. So my shift is going for 3 hours, and I change over at 1 o'clock. All good. Friday morning, approaching Lake's entrance. We're about 51 minutes out of Lake's entrance. A very calm night once the wind dropped off. A bit of sea mist around, and I think we'll actually get into Lakes early this morning because it's so calm. I just want to make sure that there's no current flow, because I had to unblock an engine hose the other day, yesterday. The trouble being the gravity siphon system doesn't allow for globules to go up the hose. It rather blocks it and doesn't have enough strength to drag it up the hose. So I think I have to put an inline electric fuel pump and not just the mechanical driven engine pump. So every now and again I've had to unblock the hose and the engine just stops. So if I've got an inflowing tide through the entrance, at least I know that if the engine drops out, I'll be able to piddle my way through the entrance into the Gippsland Lakes and not out into the ocean again. Beautiful morning. Coming into Lake's entrance. The lead lights have been a bit of a mystery. I can see the neon blue light, but I can't see the one that was meant to be lined up, but I think it's a post behind it instead of I'm looking in front of it. So should be right. It's very calm, so no troubles with that. Did you just film that for us? Coming in? That's playing now. We're approaching the Gippsland Lakes entrance, which is a dredged entrance. They dredge the channel to maintain a good commercial level for all the fishing boats that are inside, and they use a purpose-built dredge for it that is now based at Lakes Entrance. It's called the Tommy Norton, and it will often work in the mouth, mostly on calm weather days. Seen here, the Tommy Norton's based in the mouth, dredging the channel. If you approach the boat, you're not allowed to overtake it without first asking for permission to pass. The channel that the Tommy Norton dredges is then marked using a blue neon light system with one marker on the top of Flagstaff Hill, an inverted blue triangle, and the other marker on the eastern headland on that tower with a vertical blue line. When these two are one above each other with the point of the triangle pointing directly at the vertical line, and they're in alignment, that is when you're in the channel. And if it doesn't do that, then you have to steer to make it align. On the left hand side of the tower are a number of white triangles which are alternatives for the vertical blue line, and also on the starboard side is the same. So if the channel's a bit off, they can put the vertical blue line on these positions. So this here is an online track. You're online and you're in the channel, the way that blue is arranged. And if you don't get that, then you got to steer to get that, and then to make sure you're in the channel. Made it. Yeah, it feels a bit like welcome home, Jens, as I'm motoring down the entrance, passing Lakes Entrance on the right, and then be going down to Meetung, where I spend a fair bit of my time. That's where my mum and dad live. Come to visit them, and importantly, do some building work, normally building work, to raise the funds again so I can keep going and keep sailing. I've got an important haul out this year at Gippsland Port's Bullock Island facility. I'm going to do my hull throughs on Toucan, and I'm also going to do a survey report for my rigging and just on the boat general, which seems to be become an insurance. requirement. And also catch some local prawns and enjoy the summer, because the summer's beautiful down here. It's really nice. A bit cold in the winter for me, but the summer's beautiful. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episodes. And remember, cut a furrow full spinnaker ahead to your dreams, because you never do know what's around the corner.